Today's show, MaliceCast Live Season 2, Episode 29. San Diego Comic-Con is over. However, we are not done talking about it. Today, we are talking a wrap-up on San Diego Comic-Con, some of our thoughts of what happened over there for the people that were there, and how it went. Along with that, we are going to be reacting to the movie trailers that came out of San Diego Comic-Con, mainly what came from Warner Brothers as they released that for everybody to see. But some other great stuff like Glass and some other films, Clone Wars, some little TV show, Getting Saved. I don't know. So, but with that, go ahead and jump in the chat room. Let us know your thoughts on all the things we're talking about. Pull up a chair and sit back and keep nerding on. Hello to all the geek enthusiasts and nerd aficionados. Mest 5150 here with MaliceCast Live, Season 2, Episode 29. We're back. We're sitting in our rooms. We're not in line at Hall H trying to look up my nose because I have terrible cameramanship when I'm standing live. But we're here. We're here to talk about San Diego Comic-Con and some of the movie trailers that came out of it and what our thoughts are on these movies, if they're going to be good, if they're going to be bad, if our hopes are high, or if we're like, we're going to wait till that comes out for rental. As always, you have me, your host, Mest5150 with you. Also on the cast, we have a new face that we've seen once before, but all the way from the Nerd Mosh Pit, we have Nick joining us. Nick, how's it going?
How's it going, y'all? Happy to be here.
Happy
to be here.
Also on the cast,
third time actually.
Third time. Oh, three. Oh, yes. You were part of the Quest for 100 takeover as well. So, yeah, and Red Meat Paws joining us in the chat room. Hello, Red. Go ahead, Nick.
What's that?
I thought you were going to say something.
No.
Also joining us on the cast, we have Masonic Vader. How goes it, sir?
It goes well, sir. I'm very happy that there's not 190,000 people staying in my city for making the homeless people pissed off. You guys are out there at the convention center and staying outside, and that's just my spot I sleep in.
Yeah, that's my spot to sleep in for a weekend, basically. I've already gone out there and put a little spike in the area that I'm going to sleep next year and be like, this is mine, don't touch it. I'll go water the spot every once in a while, so there's a nice, good little bit of grass to give me some padding to sit on. So,
dude, that next year on our San Diego Comic-Con, we're going to have probably a bum fights version of it eventually. Watch, that's what's going to happen.
As the next year's dates are 2020, July 17th through the 21st. If you guys didn't know, it's already out there. So,
for 2020.
For 2020, yes, or 2019. No, sorry. Yeah, 2020's got its dates out as well. 2020's dates are July 2020, 17th to the 21st. I can't remember what, I think it's like the 24th to the 26th or something for next year.
We are definitely nerds. Yeah, we're definitely nerds.
Also on the cast with us, we have Icy Zorro. How goes it, sir?
It's great. Get your tickets now. Those things are probably already gone. They're released. The dates already. For sleeping spots, what you should do is have a Casper mattress delivered to the spot. Comes in a tiny little box, and then
Actually, that's not a bad idea.
And then you could check it in the bag claim.
Yeah, I know a guy that could hook you up with one.
I know one.
Big Papa Matt.
Yeah, so I can hook people up with one as well.
But it won't be a Casper. It'll be a Tulo.
Exactly, Tulo. And we got the Tulo Live coming out. So
that's another
problem solved.
All right, and lastly, our female persuasion on the cast, Super Hoovian Freak. How goes it?
I'm still catching up on my sleep from Comic-Con, but I will be happy to say that I did not get sick this weekend. There was no cold, there was no flu, there was nothing but fatigue.
That's
good.
It usually is con flu, which everybody tends to
I
get.
know.
So,
but I seem to have avoided it. But I got Gishwas coming up this week, so it may get me this coming week because I'm not going to be sleeping again this week. So
let's hope it doesn't happen.
Let's hope.
I'm gonna be at the horror convention, so we'll see if I get sick there. And I said horror, not That's something else.
Sounding different. Yeah.
If I got sick from that, it'd be a whole
looking to
different type of
see-
sickness.
I'm looking to
Different
see how
type.
long it takes Jack to jump on that one here. Hold on a second.
Below the belt sickness.
The jokes of the convention.
Yeah. Okay, so we like to start this show out with talking about what everybody's been geeking out on. Since you're new on just this actual cast for the first time, I know you've been here 3 times for takeovers, but what have you been geeking out on lately?
Basically, the past 2 weeks, to be completely honest, I've been I switched to a new job, and I've changed my sleep schedule up completely to where I'm waking up at 6 in the morning instead of 8:30. So my body's been adjusting, but the only thing that I've been able to do is I've been rereading the books for Game of Thrones, and
Nice.
I just finished up Game of Thrones, the first book, and I have also dug in deeper to Assassin's Creed Origins. I hadn't gotten the chance to play that yet, but I'm really enjoying it.
Nice. And I know we had I see you played Assassin's Creed Origins. didn't you?
That was what I was going to say that I'd been geeking out on. I just finished all the DLC for Origins. That was a really good game. And then I went back and I'm playing through the whole Ezio collection, and I keep on hitting all the wrong buttons because I'm used to the updated playstyle stuff. I've also been I picked up the In Death series again, so I think I've read like 3 or 4 of those since I was on the last cast.
Isn't there like 20 books in that series?
It's like
Oh, dude,
60.
you wish there was 20. There's like
60.
45, 50.
Yeah, I think I'm on like 34, 35, something like that.
It's like the jar of jelly beans. It's the guess how many are actually
Yeah,
there.
pretty
Guess
much.
how many books are in this stack? Yeah.
I
And
heard,
if you wanna get
I heard the amount of chapters in that series actually rivals the Bible.
Yeah, pretty much. Did you get to Fantasy in Death yet? Did you get to
That's the one that I am currently on.
Yes, I love that
About
one
halfway through it,
so
yeah.
much.
I'm really confused by it so far,
I
which
know.
doesn't normally happen with me with these
Yeah.
books.
If it's not confusing, it's not good.
It's exactly. Well, it
it's
takes
one of
the
the-
whole. Oh, go ahead.
It's one of the first mysteries I haven't been able to figure out in the first half of the book.
Exactly. I love that one because it takes the locked door mystery like to the extreme because it's in the future and they literally walk into a secured like top grade locked room and there's a guy with his head cut off and nobody else is in there. So it's not, it's awesome.
Sounds
love it.
like a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, his
I'm
house
sure it
droid,
is.
who is a perfect model of slave Leia, says nobody else has been there.
Nice. If you guys want to get any books, here comes the shameless plug, but head over to our website, malice-corp.com. It is written right there on the bottom of the screen. Head over to the website, click on any of the Amazon links, Audible as well. You can get those books, and you get what you're looking for. We get a little bit of a helping hand from it, and it's a win-win. So we appreciate it greatly from it. So even Game of Thrones, everything that people are geeking out and reading on.
Yes.
Super. What have you been geeking out on?
Let's see. Well, since I got back from the con, I've finished Luke Cage season 2, so that was nice. I didn't like it. I liked it as not quite as much as season 1, but I liked it a lot better than Jessica Jones season 2. And then I actually caught up on the panel that we missed for the Iron Fist season 2. I went back and I watched the trailer. I started watching the panel, and I'm actually excited for Iron Fist season 2. I think it's going to be a lot better than season 1 is.
Nice.
So
And then what about you, Masonic? What you been geeking out on?
Well, being that I have a little bit of a teaching background and whatnot, I found this really interesting show, and I'm a big history buff. It's on
Same
TNT.
here, Masonic.
Yeah, nice. It's a show called Curse on Oak Island, and it's about an island right off of Nova Scotia that apparently has been there's history behind it where they think there's a lot of treasure there, and there's been treasure seekers on that island for over 200 years. And this television series follows the current people that actually own the majority of the island and are the current treasure seekers, and it's very interesting watching it and seeing the history that's behind it, I guess, in a sense, and so many different possibilities, I guess, of the treasure that's being there. So
And
definitely
what is
check
that
it out.
on?
It's on TNT. If you have Hulu, they're up to season. I don't know if they're all the way through season 5, but I know I've been binging it for like the last week, and I'm about done with season 4.
Brightine says the Ark of the Covenant is buried there. Don't look at it when you open it.
Well, first of all, they can't even spell. So let's start
Marion,
there.
close your eyes.
It's Ache of the what?
If they
Oh
wanted
my
to find the Ark of the
gosh,
Covenant, all
man,
they have to do is release metal
seriously,
shavings
I
in the
mean-
air. Remember?
Jack,
I have to say that Jack said he was 40K. He was geeking out on that.
40K and Orconomics by J.
Sorry.
Zachary Pike, and then we've got Beacon talking about Hearts Beat Loud, of course. He was
Oh
talking
my
about
gosh,
No
that's
Man's
why he was
Sky.
kicked
No
off
Man's Sky,
producing.
people are super excited for again. It looks like they're finally giving what they said they were going to give at the beginning. So, and Jack just subscribed to the Twitch Prime channel for 6 months in a row. Yo, yo, yo! Thank you so much, Jack.
Nice.
So, there was something else that Beacon said he was geeking out on at the beginning, and I can't remember what it was. But yeah, No Man's Sky, people are really excited for now because it's finally looking like it gave the stuff it was supposed to. So I might actually go and pick up No Man's Sky now. I don't know. And Prydine says he's not kidding. It may be or the Holy Grail. One of those two is buried there.
Yeah, there's also the menorah of King Solomon, but I don't know if they found it yet. So, you know.
Yeah. So let's get into what we're here to talk about. We're talking about SDCC. We've been talking about it for 3 weeks. We talked about the schedule. Then we talked about what was going on so far. Now we're wrapping it up. We're talking about kind of what the experiences were that happened there, some of the news that came out of it. I'm going to start off my plea, and you guys can jump along with me if you want on this, but I'm making a huge plea to companies that come to SDCC, Marvel, HBO, Netflix. Please don't skip SDCC anymore because it was a nightmare in terms of how packed and busy it was on the show floor and outside.
At least not all in the same year. Like if one person wants to take a little break, do some stuff, get their crap together, that's okay. But those three, oh my God, Saturday was a nightmare trying to get from one end of the hall to the other.
Yeah.
And I had to move, man. I had some CW panels to get to. That was
I walked
ridiculous.
into the small press area. So these are the people that are doing like their own little books that they're making and stuff like that. And it was shoulder to shoulder in the small press area. And to the people that didn't go, Masonic, Nick, IC Zorro, if you knew it was going to be extremely packed and you wouldn't be able to get anywhere, would you want to go to a convention that did that?
Isn't that typically how it is? That's how it was the last time I went there. It's always busy.
Here's the thing. The last time I went to SDCC, I walked into Hall H in the middle of the day on a Saturday and got like a 5th or 6th row seat for the Lost Season 3 panel.
Yep,
I haven't been there in a while. But
Are we talking shoulder to shoulder crammed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And
mean,
literally
it's-
like having to move in one mass of people and then stop and then letting that mass of people go and then moving again. There was no individual flow. There was no personal space bubble.
No.
It was just
that would drive me nuts. I'm too old for that. You know what I'll do? I'll do offsite stuff.
yeah.
Well, okay, and there's your problem. There's problem number 2. So, I put it out on Twitter, and I want to know what other people's thoughts are. Friday, Saturday, busiest days that sell out first. All the days sell out, but it's Friday and Saturday are the busiest days. They're the ones that sell out first. More people are coming down. They have time off. They're going to be down there. The offsites didn't matter what it was for the most part. You were standing in line a minimum of an hour to 2 hours to get into the offsite, because anybody and everybody is able to go into the offsite because it's promotion. It's selling these brands. I put it out this way on a tweet, and I was asking, do you think that people with badges should have offsite should only be open to badge holders on Friday and Saturday, and Thursday and Sunday slower days are open to everybody? Or do you think there's something that they could do differently? But they make it insane even on the offsites with this.
They could do a fast pass, kind of like Disneyland. Hey, here you go.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
That's actually not a bad idea. You come in, you get a ticket that says you get to jump in the line between 2 o'clock and 3 o'clock. on a
The,
Friday.
the only
that.
reason, the only reason why I would be against them doing something like that is because to me, I think that's taken away from what Comic-Con originally started from. I mean, Comic-Con started at the Grant Hotel, and it was a bunch of comic illustrators and whatnot trying to sell their comics, trying to sell their craft, and of course, it's now blown up to this megatropolis, media, everything. But when you start cutting it off from people who maybe can't afford it or can't do it, at least they can go around and see some of the small stuff. But I do agree, for the people who do pay for it, they should have the ability to make it in first before anyone else who did not, and just trying to go in and join in on the celebration it is.
Yeah,
I think that'd just be a good way to start fights. You see people standing in line for hours, and then a couple of people walk past. If it wasn't like a fast pass system would totally work, but like just you have a badge so you get in, no, somebody's gonna get hurt.
It's got to be a fast pass. I mean, they got to be able to scan
pass.
it. Yeah.
something.
Everybody
something.
still gets to experience the same thing, but other people just get to experience it faster by paying more.
Yeah, and Red Meepaw asks, how big was the vendor room? It's the entire convention center. The entire show floor is open. And then you have stuff going on. I mean, it's about total for what Comic-Con takes over 10 blocks radius, both front and back. It takes over an entire small town.
It takes over hotels. It takes over all the businesses around there. I mean, when they started talking about this about 10 years ago, about how San Diego possibly wasn't going to keep it or renovate it, kind of like they were going to do with the X Games, where they just thought the X Games were nothing and they let it go, and now look what it's doing. I about wanted to go down there and drop kick somebody, because that brings in so much revenue. I think that pretty much is like the second biggest cash cow that comes to San Diego, next to when the Super Bowl came into town. Oh yeah. So it's quite amazing what downtown San Diego does for a weekend to accommodate 180,000 people that come there for 4 or 5 days.
Well, I noticed.
I would love to see the numbers on that Super Bowl compared to Comic-Con. I would love to see the numbers.
That would be interesting, yeah. Although we won't have a Super Bowl down there anymore because the Chargers left. Wah wah.
Yeah.
Spoil it anyway.
Damn you, sir. Damn you.
But I noticed something this year that just popped in, that I just thought of. This was the first year at Comic-Con where there wasn't anything going on in Petco Park. Petco Park didn't have some offsites of its own. I mean, there was the Purge offsite was connected to it, but usually the floor of Petco takes over with something.
They have like zombie runs and stuff like that.
I thought I saw the Batmobile was there or something. I remember Xavier Woods posted a picture of it, and little side note, not just throw myself in there, but the Batmobile they had down there, which was the model for the 89 movie, the Michael Keaton, the first one, was actually built 6 houses up from my house.
Oh wow, nice.
It's a converted Corvette. I can't remember what year it is.
Explode?
It never exploded, but it never went past 45 miles an hour. 45, it shook too much.
I think must have had as much weight on it as a tank.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Now, I will say some of the stuff that was going on in the offsites was definitely the best things of Comic-Con this year. You'll see some more of those videos coming up on my vlog channel, Geek Guidepost on YouTube. But the Taco Bell offsite for the 25th anniversary of Demolition Man was fantastic.
That looks awesome.
That, or did just your wife go?
No, we both went, but we stood in line forever to get a chance to go into it because it was the most sought after offsite to do.
5 hours you guys were standing in line?
She was in line for at least 5 hours. I went and tried to get in line at DC Universe's offsite. I finally got inside, and then she's like, I'm getting worried. People are getting weird about people joining back up in line. Get over here. And I didn't get to go through the major stuff of the DC Universe after standing in line for 2 hours to get into it.
Oh, that's so So, I was in I think I was in panels at that time when you guys were doing the offsites on Saturday.
Yes, you were in the CW panels.
Right.
So Super saw all the CW panels, and we know how much we like the CW here on MaliceCast. So
be excited, guys. Be excited. For those that didn't like Arrow season 6, be excited, because I had so many doubts, and I saw the trailer and the things that they put together for season 7, and Stephen Amell looks like he is going to rock this season, at least just by the beginning. And I don't say that a lot about Arrow starting off. As we all know, Arrow starts slow and then gets better the second half. But I think that this time they're going to start it off. I think they've been listening to the fans. They know what they've been doing wrong, and I think that they're going to start off strong this year.
Yeah.
Did John Barrowman smell like sugar cookies and leather?
Yes, she took a picture with
sunshine.
John Barrowman.
Yeah.
To reference what Caesar was asking.
Yeah, he literally, yeah. It's like hugging sunshine when you're hugging John Barrowman.
I was jealous.
It's amazing.
There is a panel on the Malice Corp YouTube. So over at youtube.com/c/Malice Corp, there is a panel called The Great Debate. One of the best panels of Comic-Con this year. John Barrowman is on it. And when you talk about smelling him, he talks about wearing the Jack Harkness jacket. Felicia Day leans over. He's like, and she just smelled me talking about the jacket. And Felicia Day looks up and she's like, and I ovulated. So
wow.
And then
it
jokes about, from an earlier joke, everyone apparently at that panel had sat on Stan Lee's lap at one point in time at Comic-Con. So John Barrowman was like, oh, now that you're doing that after smelling my jacket, now the time is to go sit on Stan Lee's lap.
It is a fantastic panel. Go watch all the we for the people that weren't able to be at San Diego Comic-Con, we're really trying to do our best to give you guys as much experiences of what happened there. So I've been for the last week loading up the panels that I was able to attend. So the Great Debate is over there. The Fear the Walking Dead majority of the panel is over there. There's a situation with that one. The Bumblebee panel. Watch the Bumblebee panel. Surprisingly enough, Bumblebee, I think, is the surprise panel of this year. I want to see this movie so badly now. They talked about Transformers Generation 1 like crazy. Like I said on the Hall H live cast last week, they opened up the panel with Stan Bush, who sang The Touch, the theme song for the Transformers movie, singing it with lasers and shooting in the audience. They closed out the panel with the voice of Optimus Prime asking a question as Optimus Prime as a surprise in the audience.
Peter Cullen.
Yeah. So it was thrown to, this is the fans of the original Transformers. Forget that Michael Bay crap. Here we're going to try and kind of get it back to that focus.
So we'll actually be able to see what's happening on screen?
Yeah.
Well, the director is the director of all the Leica films. So Kubo and the Two Strings, Coraline. So he knows pacing. He's got 2 Oscars. I know it's for stop motion, but that panel, absolutely fantastic. Sony panel. Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse still looks amazing. Venom, I'm still not 100% on.
Mm-hmm.
I will admit though, it made me more excited there than the original trailer did, because I thought the original trailer was crap.
Yeah,
and
this trailer does look better.
This actually made it look like a real movie, so I'm a little bit more excited.
Yeah. So,
I'm willing to see it just for Tom Hardy.
Yes.
Yeah, and this was his first time at Comic-Con, so it was kind of interesting, him being on stage and just being a little excited to be there. They asked him about if he would fight Tom Holland's Spider-Man, and he's like, what? And he's like, Tom Holland's Spider-Man. He's like, we could have a go. It was his response to it.
Bane versus a high school kid. I want to see that.
Yeah. So, but those were the gist of the panels that I was able to attend. It was mainly in Hall H, but this is what I was saying about don't skip. Hall H holds almost 7,000 people inside of it. When you don't have the panels to fill it, that's why it was shoulder to shoulder, super packed everywhere you walked. Because generally Saturday, Hall H is filled from the second it opens till Kevin Smith takes the stage for his Q&A, which I love Kevin Smith, but he doesn't fill the entire Hall H. So that's 6,000 people you're taking off of the floor on Saturday. On top of that, Ballroom 20 is usually filled because you've got everybody CW and they're not leaving, and Indigo gets these scraps that are still really good shows taking over. So you're taking about total of about 15,000 to 16,000 people off of the floor on Saturday because they're staying in these ballrooms. Because paneling was so light this year. I literally went into Hall H for the Warner Brothers panel at the beginning of the day and left and never came back to Hall H after that. And that's what majority of people did. Some people came back for Deadpool 2, but that was it. So that's why it was so badly crammed and so badly packed. And I'm sure that's a complaint that a lot of people had this year, where it was like, well, get better programming.
Yeah, because there was some weird panels on Saturday in the Hall H.
Yeah, but Saturday you did get the Warner Brothers panel, which is what we wanted to talk about for the people that weren't here, that are on the panel to talk about San Diego Comic-Con. We watched some of the trailers that came out of San Diego Comic-Con, and most of them came from the Warner Brothers panel. So we'll go through those really quickly. Reading the chat room. So first and foremost, the first one that I wanted to get insights on was we got the Aquaman trailer finally. We were expecting to get it at WonderCon 5 months ago, and then all of a sudden when it was supposed to drop, they changed it and decided not to drop it, which gave a lot of scares towards what's coming. Did you guys all watch the trailer?
Yes.
Absolutely.
I have thoughts.
I want go. So I see you've been talking about having thoughts. So I go. What did you think of the trailer? What
It was half amazing, half oh god, please don't do that. It was everything that's planted in the real world looks amazing. Like they're finally getting a DC movie right, and then they cut to the Gungan city, and I was like, "What is happening?"
That's what you
I didn't feel like that was
yeah.
Gungan City at all.
Oh, that CGI
way
looks
too pretty. Number one,
some of it looks.
It
good.
was brutal.
Some of it looks
the CGI
terrible.
and the Gungan. Yeah.
Well, let's also remember this is just a trailer to start off with, and they've got still enough if they have to do any last minute stuff. I mean, personally, myself, I think I said this when they first announced that they were doing the Aquaman movie, and we were talking about it on Cast a while back, that I would be interested to see what they do with it. And I agree with IC as far as a lot of the like out of Atlantis kind of world is awesome. The scene in the sub and everything is great. I actually did like the Atlantis because of the simple fact that we've never really seen Atlantis on television, or I mean on the screen, and they did a good job, I think, of really making it into the world that it is. I mean, we've only seen glimpses of it though, so I'm going to be interested to see Black Manta and going at it. I'm going to be interested in seeing the sharks. I mean, there's a lot. You got the Megs in there. I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff that I'm really looking forward to seeing happen.
Go ahead, Nick. I want to know what your thoughts were.
I agree with the first statement that was made, to where half of it was pretty good. Seemed like it was pretty promising, but then I have some reservations, especially when it comes to the CGI formatting that I saw, which, yes, that could be cleaned up and stuff, but I just wasn't impressed, especially with some of the scenes where it showed the sharks. I was just like, oh god. Also, it kind of really is reminiscent of Thor, but just like an underwater Thor.
I could see
the
that.
storylines are kind of similar, so it's like it's like the same movie regurgitated. I'm a Jason Momoa fan, aka Khal Drogo. But I have some reservations about this. I don't know if it's going to be a big hit. I'm not sure about it.
I think it is.
So I keep getting this mixed up because we saw additional footage at the panel.
Mm-hmm.
Did the trailer show the orange and gold, the orange and green suit?
Not that I remember.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay, he does appear in the orange and green suit.
Yes.
They showed it in our additional footage, and it looks pretty badass.
Of course, it's on Jason Momoa.
It looked amazing. If a little bit of poor CGI is the only thing that's wrong with this film, I'll take it.
Whoa,
Honestly.
stop. The last time someone said that, we got freaking Superman with smudge face. No. Yeah, no.
I don't remember that. What movie are you talking
Are you
about?
Justice
kidding me?
League.
The first 2 seconds of the movie is freaking Henry Cavill coming out, Superman.
They had
Hey
to
kids,
reshoot
let's
Oh.
interview.
because
Oh
he had facial hair, so they put a digital lip on him. That's why he looks so weird.
Yeah, that was weird. That was
Exactly what Jack Malice just put in the chat room. Give me practical effects.
But okay, to go with that, I agree. Practical effects are always better. However, they've said that Aquaman was never an adaptable story due to the factor of taking place in Atlantis for things. You need CGI to do what you need to do down there.
Hard to have super fast seahorses to ride without CGI.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. You can't have Aquaman without CGI. You know, unless it takes place out of the water, and that's not Aquaman.
They made Jurassic Park with practical effects 2.5 decades ago, and that still looks amazing.
Not
They
underwater.
could have figured out a way.
I'm sorry, but have
Underwater.
we mastered the art of breathing underwater?
They could have.
Underwater?
They could have done it SpongeBob style, where we just assume it's underwater after the first scene or so.
Okay, but understand something. There's a reason why Iron Man, or even heck, I'm just going to throw it out there. Spider-Man current version looks a lot better and does a lot better because of the fact they're able to harness the CGI a lot more. Aquaman scenario is a lot different. It's not like he's on Earth the entire time. He's underwater. They're making up. Like, I hate to say it, you are right to a point where Gungan City. However, I think they probably learned from Gungan City and is going to make this a little bit more realistic, a little bit more when we've read about Atlantis in the books. This is what it probably would look like. So,
remember, we only saw like 10 seconds. I mean, we literally saw them going into Atlantis, and that was it. We didn't.
We
see
saw
what
like
was
some arena crowd, and then there was the whole underwater battle scene. It looked like Hunger Games met Phantom Menace. But I'm still gonna go see it.
I'm gonna go
like
see
I said, the stuff, the actual storyline stuff looks amazing. I'm definitely gonna go see it.
Dude, Black Menace looked bad. I mean, he looked so cool. I mean, it wasn't the freaking enormous head that we see in the comic books. It was more realistic size, and I'm actually looking forward to this. And I used to dump on Aquaman all the time. Seriously, he was the one guy I never wanted to be in when we were playing superheroes. If I got stuck with Aquaman, I remember one time I stabbed myself with a trident and I was done for an hour laying on the grass.
You give Aquaman to the kid that you don't really actually want to hang out with. Like, go hang out in the pool, dude. We're going to play over here.
Well, and you even get that feel from it on the trailer, because it's like, oh, look, he's summoning the fishes at the aquarium. This is the thing that keeps bugging me that nobody brings up. Can we talk about the factor that Aquaman's dad is Jango Fett? I mean, have we seen him in any other movie but as Jango Fett?
I missed it. Sorry.
Yes,
I missed that one spot.
The actor, when he says, "I come from two worlds, from the human world, and from the actor that is playing his dad from the human world is the actor that plays Jango Fett."
That's hilarious.
I'm like, okay, well, we haven't seen him in anything for a while, because that's the last thing I think I saw him as was Jango.
There was a break for Clone Wars, you had nothing going on.
And you could barely see her face, but it was pretty clear that the mom was Nicole Kidman, right?
It's Nicole Kidman. Yeah.
Nicole Kidman.
Yeah, she was at the panel. So
she was at the panel. Very odd to see Nicole Kidman at a panel. Not a name you would associate very often with Comic-Con.
No, definitely not.
But it was fun. She did fine. She did absolutely fine.
And she looks great.
Really good lineup.
She looks amazing on in person. So she plays his mom. We did get another scene and this the things that you guys aren't seeing might help flesh out things a little bit, but it also might make things a little scarier in terms of the trailer. The big scene that we got. So if you saw in the trailer when they jump out of the plane and he's like, she doesn't have a parachute, and he's like,
redheads,
and they jump into the desert. Well, apparently that's where Atlantis used to be, because that's where they're going, and he's like, this can't be Atlantis. Atlantis was underwater and they're in this huge desert. Well, they go to this like mechanism in these old ruins, and she's trying to get this thing started. She's like, it doesn't work, and he's like, go figure, old technology, old workmanship or whatever. And she's like, no, and she starts absorbing sweat off of his brow to drop water onto it, and then it starts working and stuff. And so all that's going through my head the whole time when I'm seeing this pillar needing water on it,
the
to
fifth
make
element.
Work. Exactly. I'm like, okay, so we need air, we need matches.
Yep.
So it's not a spoiler. It was out there.
And then they also need
it was out there, and it was awesome.
I don't know anything beyond that, but yeah,
Yeah.
I saw very like, and I went to talk to other people at the convention after the panel, and the exact same thing went through their head was like, we're watching The Fifth Element right now. So I mean, she does have fiery red hair, and they did need to get water to make something work. Yeah.
Once again, another example that we are nerds.
Right, exactly.
Yes.
That is, if there is one thing that I'm worried about Aquaman, not for me, not the CGI, but for me, I'm actually more worried about Amber Heard's performance. I hope that she's better than what she was in the trailer, because I thought she was kind of the weak link out of both the panel and the trailer itself. She didn't stand out to me at all, so I'm hoping that in the movie she's actually stronger.
Yeah, I could get that. Jack says Aquaman kicks ass even on land. Being a creature that can survive the great depths and operate on land, he's almost as strong and tough as Superman. I absolutely agree with that, and I think his movie will be better than the Superman films.
I think so too.
Low bar.
There's not. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's a very low bar.
So, yeah. So, moving on to the next film that you guys seem to really want to discuss and talk about was okay. So, just to put a little bit of detail for how San Diego Comic-Con has been working with this franchise and kind of bringing it back. First convention I went to 6 years ago, I think, for San Diego Comic-Con. I happened to be into Hall H for the Warner Brothers panel. My wife didn't want to go in, so I was just there by myself. And we get this trailer that shows just mass destruction, and there's this speech going on. And at the very end, you hear the roar of Godzilla, and you see his silhouette. And then the next year, we got a whole full panel for the new Godzilla films. And then the year after that, they talked about how they were going to be bringing all the Godzilla monsters back, so we were going to get a King of Monsters type of thing. Now we have a trailer. We have a trailer for Godzilla King of Monsters filled with a ton of talent, like you guys were saying. What are your thoughts on this trailer? Some reactions. Go.
I liked it a lot more than I thought it would.
Yeah.
The cast in this thing is insane. 11, Bradley Whitfield, Vera Farmiga, Kyle Chandler, Z Zhang, there's Thomas Middleditch, Ken Watanabe, like
Richard Hendricks.
These many, yeah, exactly. If these people are going to be in it, it can't be terrible. I would hope.
Well, Ken Watanabe was in the last one too, and I actually liked the last one. However, a lot of people were upset with the factor that like there was only about 30 minutes of Godzilla. You know, that was their problem. Was like, this is a movie with people and Godzilla roaming around in the background.
Well, I mean, that makes sense if you call a film Godzilla and you only see 30 minutes of Godzilla. I mean, hey,
he's not great with dialogue, you know.
No,
Yeah.
he got a good roar down though.
Well, apparently some of you guys have forgot some of the old 60s and 70s Godzillas when he's in there all the time, but he wasn't talking at all. He was just battling and everyone else was chatting about.
Just a rubber suit crashing through cardboard buildings.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But they did show that you can make a film where he's in it about 60-70% of the time and still not having the dialogue. I liked it. I thought the trailer looked great. I think the them bringing back all the ones I love and grew up on. I'm dating myself. I'm aging myself with saying that when I was a kid, I watched Godzilla and I saw all those films. I loved them, and I always made fun of the fact that people quit talking and yet their words kept coming out of their mouth. I mean, I loved it. And when I saw the preview, the only thing that gets me nervous about it is the story. Like, these monsters are released to save the Earth. So
Yeah,
I'm kind of
That's what I was going to bring up.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested to see what they're going to try to pull off with that one. So they're going to go ahead and eradicate everybody on Earth and start all over, I guess. I don't know.
Well, you got to think, if you go back to Godzilla mythos, though, I mean, Godzilla did fight against all the monsters at some point, but some were good, some were bad. So you see in the trailer, we see Mothra.
Mhm.
We see Rodan. Rodan was never a good monster.
No.
So you got to assume Rodan's going to be the antagonist of this film, I would assume.
Yeah.
And there should be more showing up. I'm just waiting for the fact where like they all turn on humanity and they're like, we got to make Mechagodzilla.
Yeah, exactly. I want
That's
to
the next movie.
Ghidra's in it too, right?
I think so. I don't remember if I saw. They still said that there's some beasts that haven't been shown yet. So this just looks like, to me, this is the let's crack the door open so that we can go into full on monster against monster battle movies going farther. But we are in an age where, with Hollywood taking it over, I don't know how much we're gonna get of like these creatures going against each other versus a lot of story going on with the human actors and them being in the background, because Hollywood doesn't want to do just. I mean, when they do, the movies tend to bomb when they do just monsters fighting against each other on stage.
What, you mean like Godzilla trying to lay eggs in New York City? Because that film laid a giant egg?
Yeah.
Oh,
That was awful.
Yeah.
Matthew Broderick. Oh, yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Did you guys think that there wasn't it was too much like little tiny glimpses of everything?
No. Okay, so when they first did Venom, we shat all over it because we were like, dude, we didn't see Venom. You know what I'm saying?
Right?
These are one of those. This is the type of film where I don't want to see a bunch of Godzilla stomping through the city or something. I'm stoked at the fact that I saw silhouettes of the monsters and I get an idea that there's going to be some fighting and stuff like that. I'm stoked about that. I want to jump into the movie theater, not even seeing a single fight scene, because I want to go in there and just be overwhelmed and like, oh my gosh, there's Godzilla and they're just fighting it out right there. I don't want to see any of that before the movie.
So just to add my 2 cents, this is the first time I've been this excited about a film that's monster related. I mean, we're talking about all the Godzilla films that we've seen over the past 20 something years, the one with Broderick, and then the what was the other one after that?
Pacific Rim.
The other Godzilla.
Well, just Godzilla is what it was called. It was just Godzilla.
And then we had Kong Skull Island and stuff like that.
Then
this
there
is
was
the most
Resurgence,
Well, go
right?
ahead.
Resurgence.
But this is the most excited I've been for a monster movie in a while. I'm not 100% saying that it's going to be an epic film, but it has the makings, it has the works to be a good film. The only thing that I don't understand at the moment is how you're going to solve disaster with something that can bring more disaster.
Okay, and then we've got our Godzilla fans in the chat room. They're saying King Ghidorah is the bad guy.
The Explorer, yeah.
Okay, so is King Ghidorah the one with the three heads then? Because I thought Rodan was the one with 3 heads.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Yeah, Ghidorah.
Rodan only has 1 head. So yeah, we're getting a really Ghidorah. Okay, yeah, we're getting a really good chat going on in the chat room. This is why you guys should be here live for this on the Twitch channel, twitch.tv/MaliceCorp. So you can talk with us, you can discuss with us what's going on, and we can give your insights as we try and nerd out on things and are horribly wrong when we're discussing things at times.
Can I throw my last thing on Godzilla? And I think this is the reason why I think everyone's anticipating to see it, is because we've always, like, we grew up with Godzilla, a guy in a plastic rubber suit doing his thing, and we loved it growing up and stuff, right? And then you get the first actual major movie that comes out where, like, okay, we're going to possibly see it. And it was Matthew Broderick's Godzilla, and everyone just crapped it because it looked like a mutated lizard laying eggs in downtown New York. It was just garbage. It wasn't what we wanted.
Because P. Diddy and Jimmy Page covering Kashmir for that soundtrack was a better video.
Exactly. Yeah. And you have that. And then you get a Godzilla movie that when you see the previews or when you see Godzilla, you're like, oh my gosh, that's what we want to see. His spine lights up. He's shooting stuff out, but we only get 30 minutes of him, if that. So that's why I think everyone's finally like they liked the last movie, but they hated the fact that Godzilla wasn't in it a majority of the time, because people, when they want to go see a Godzilla movie, they want to see the King of Lizards. And so that's where I think a lot of the hype is now coming from this, because not only are we going to get the King of Lizards, but now we're going to get his freaking arch enemies and all the other guys. We're going to get at least 2 or 3 baddies in there and stuff. So we're going to see this, and it's going to look it's going to look realistic, which is going to be what they want.
We had 3, and Prydine says that Rodan is the bird pterodactyl style. Yeah, and we did see that. We saw that getting torched, the bird pterodactyl. So we saw Rodan. We did see, so Gildora is the 3-headed. We definitely see a lot of him in that trailer. And you see Mothra. So
Jack would like to point out that he's the king of monsters, not lizards. And I would like to point out that the lizard king is actually Jim Morrison.
Which,
and I just want to point out that I've had too much of this
That is
stuff in
very
a brown
true.
bottle tonight, so I'm just going to jump in on that and blame it on it.
This is my only problem with this trailer is, okay, yeah, the movie is Godzilla King of Monsters, but do we really have to give the line to the Lannister father of Long Live the King? That was like, take that out of the trailer.
Tywin Lannister.
Charles Dance.
They didn't need to do that. Yeah, Charles Dance. Yeah.
Yeah, that
Didn't
line,
need that line
just,
in there.
I'm like, no, stop.
Godzilla.
Yeah,
always
I just
beat
want to
the
delete that from my memory.
Yeah, the rest of the trailer I love, but that one line is like, oh, that's just the groan moment of the film, which I guess, loving Godzilla, you do have your definite groan moments of every single Godzilla film at some point. There is always one. Yes, the original name, Gojira. So, and they retconned the Matthew Broderick Godzilla is what Jack Malice says. So, moving on to our next trailer. We're just bouncing through these trailers.
Shazam.
So Shazam is the next one. Yes. So
Yes.
Okay. This is what I have to say about Shazam. I think Shazam is what's really going to get the DC universe set right. I know people love the first Wonder Woman, and they talk about make the movies like the first Wonder Woman. That this is what we need for these this universe to do well. You can see a little bit of that with Aquaman. I am very, very fearful because we got a very, very, very tiny bit of Wonder Woman 1984, and it is campy as all hell, the little bit that they gave us, and I'm afraid that they're going too lighthearted with it.
I think it's way too early to judge. I mean, we literally got like a 2-minute freaking
30
dog.
seconds, if
We
that.
got like 30 seconds, if that, and it was literally one scene in a mall where she's busting shoplifters. I don't even know what she was doing, to be honest. Stopping a mall shooting, maybe, and that was like literally it.
Yeah, and I see Shazam giving us that lightheartedness, but still looks really freaking good in my opinion. I want to know what your guys' thoughts are.
Zachary Levi was born to play a grown-up little kid.
Oh, he was. Oh, yeah, he was.
It's big, but with
Zachary
magic.
Levi has found his role, just like Ryan Reynolds found his role in Deadpool. This role was written for him, and I think he's gonna kill it.
Yeah.
My only concern I've seen so far is when I look at him in his costume, I hate to say it, I see a little bit of the Tick. I really do.
But I
see the
love
Tick's
that
costume.
they stuck with the costume from. I mean, full.
But
on.
I'm just saying the proportions. I mean, it just his upper body just didn't go with the lower body. How about that?
Right. It's not his real muscles.
Oh yeah.
I don't
No.
think. Yeah.
I mean, he's still got pretty ripped for this film, but
Yeah, they overdid the upper body just slightly.
But that's to go
That's
along
what
with.
it's supposed to be.
Yeah, that's to fit that. I mean, he is powers of gods to make him. So
And
It would be
it's
up
a
proportion.
little kid. It's a little kid's idea of what a superhero should be if they got to be one. That's wonderful. It's like it's friggin' Chuck meets Big meets superhero movies.
Very good. I like.
okay,
I like how
so
you
when
put
you're
that.
making the posters out there, guys, of people giving their thoughts on the films, you can definitely throw that up there. Chuck meets Big, of
Meets
superhero films.
Yeah.
And make sure you put it in crayon, apparently.
So, I mean, did anybody have any drawbacks with the trailer?
The one thing that I was like, yeah, that's not great. He throws the shoplifters through the giant plate glass window. I'm like, you just caused way more damage than you saved them.
Well, I think that's what's so great with it at the end of that scene where he's just like, "You're welcome for not getting your raw. Sorry about the window, but you're welcome."
Yeah.
Yeah, because he is learning how to be a superhero in a sense. So,
Yeah.
especially because from what I picked up on the whole thing is that his buddy knows everything about superheroes. He knows nothing.
Yeah.
That's what it seems like. Yep.
Yeah. I thought it looked good. I think it's going to be a good filler in between the movies that DC's going to be coming out with this year. But like you said at the beginning, I'm a little concerned with them going too light. They're going from too dark to too light. Hopefully they'll find a happy medium with Wonder Woman 84.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is because Wonder Woman's taking place in the 80s for this one. The scene that you see is in an 80s mall, so they're really playing up the camp. I don't know we haven't seen anything serious from it yet, so.
No, not yet, no. And we're all anxious. I'm anxious to see how Chris Pine fits in, because he was at the panel, and I mean, is he going to be in flashbacks? Is he going to, I mean, that's obvious.
He's fully, they said he's
in
filming
80s gear.
Yeah. So,
he's wearing some kind of freaking neon orange jumpsuit or something. I don't know, like out of Miami Vice.
So back onto Shazam, we get a little bit of, I mean, the main thing with the trailer is that it gives us, like, here's the baseline story of Shazam and Captain Marvel and, you know, the whole thing. But no major, I mean, the only type of thing that you get a protagonist of is what's the actor's name that played Sinestro in the terrible Green Lantern film?
Oh God,
Mark Strong. Mark Strong. You see Mark Strong for just a half a second, because he's like, it's the guy that he goes to punch at, and he just catches his hand.
Catches him, yeah.
And that's Mark Strong. That I think that was Mark Strong. That's what I saw.
Yeah, so, it is.
According to the credits, he's playing Dr. Thaddeus Savannah.
Okay. Because I was like, okay, so we know The Rock is cast as Black Adam as well, but is he gonna appear in this film, or are they just, because originally it was supposed to be, we're gonna make Black Adam first, and then we're gonna make Shazam later, and then they switch things up.
The Rock is not in the credits on IMDb.
He's not in the credits.
No.
Yeah, from what I heard, I thought they were going to do it, but I think they pushed it back and just make it just strictly Shazam to possibly lead up to him meshing in. I think from what I remember them and stuff, they pushed The Rock and Black Adam back to let Shazam go first.
I mean, because would you guys just absolutely lost it? The trailer really looked good, but if you saw them show The Rock as Black Adam in the trailer as well, would that have just made this like the best trailer of Comic-Con coming out?
It would have been cool, but it's also nice that they didn't do it. And if they do it, I hope they don't tell us anything about it. So when we watch the dang movie, we walk going out.
Exactly.
My bet is he shows up in a post-credit scene, Marvel style.
That's what I was going to say too. I think he comes in at the very end to set up the Black Adam movie or Shazam 2.
Yeah. So.
I'm surprised somebody brought up like the Mandela effect, because that's like one of the Mandela effects is that I could have sworn, I mean, I know there was a Kazam movie with Shaquille O'Neal that was awful, but I could have sworn that there was a Shazam movie in the 90s. Have y'all heard about that, to where it's a Mandela effect?
That's what Super always keeps confusing it with the Shaq Kazam film.
But I knew that Kazam existed, but I also could have swore that there was a movie called Shazam in the 90s too. And there's a lot of other people that think the same thing.
I think they're confusing it with Kazam. It's really funny when you look at Google, where when you search for Shazam and you see what other people search for, it's like Aquaman, Captain Marvel, Justice League, Kazam. You know, that was
just a pinpoint. Jack Malice says 80s is my idea of heaven. Yes, it is. I love the 80s.
I concur, Jack.
San Junipero, buddy. That's what I would do.
So.
You know, the one thing I did really enjoy outside of that, the trailer, is just the transition when he says Shazam and it just boom. They did a good job. They did a good job of that. Yeah, they did a great job with that conversion. That definitely kind of sold me on seeing the movie, because I was always, when they announced that movie, I was always kind of concerned on how they're going to make that happen. And when I saw them do it that one time, I was like, okay, they hit it right. This is going to be all right.
I was concerned that they were going to do like, this is the opposite of Superman, and he's just as brooding and stuff, because I'm so used to these DC movies that are coming out. And so seeing it go like, this is the opposite of Superman, where he's going to be lighthearted. And I was like, okay, I like that this opposing force that they're doing here between the two.
Somebody remind me, is Black Lightning DC or Marvel?
Black Lightning is DC.
Yeah, DC.
Okay. Because the costume is uncomfortably similar then.
Okay. Because
that should be
the big lightning bolt.
Yeah.
Yeah. let me ask you this then. If we haven't gotten a trailer yet, but do you think that a trailer for Captain Marvel will get you more excited for the Marvel version coming than versus Shazam? Because Shazam looks so good.
I won't know till we see the trailer. Yeah.
And we have a friend in the chat room asking, are they dating? I don't know who you're talking about, so you just need to let us know.
Well, if you look at their username, they're not talking to us.
We're not going to touch that one.
Definitely a bot. I talked to I had a guy come into the tasting room where I work who said he had just finished doing set design stuff on Captain Marvel. I didn't ask him anything about the movie. He didn't offer any details. He just said it's going to be wonderful, at least as far as he could tell.
Well, that's awesome. But do we even know who's in it? I mean, have they released?
Oh yeah, it's basically done filming.
Okay, that's good. Part.
So that was the thing about this Marvel skipping San Diego Comic-Con this year was what Feige said is we will have just got done filming Captain Marvel. We will have just got started doing Spider-Man, and Ant-Man and Wasp will be out in the theaters. There's nothing we can bring to the convention without giving stuff away. Which, that's why Captain Marvel didn't come to San Diego Comic-Con this year.
I think Captain Marvel Captain Marvel will do well just because they've done such a wonderful job with the Marvel universe and how they've been able to continue the story going on. They didn't need Comic-Con this year. I think it's got enough already hype behind it that they're going to be able to go full steam with just commercials.
Yeah.
Marvel never needs Comic-Con.
People love Brie Larson right now. I mean, she's got a lot of her own popularity going to carry the movies, so
yeah. Marvel doesn't ever need Comic-Con, but it does help when it's there. So with crowd control. So, and we're getting from our main site, Shazam released first in 1940, Black Lightning first released in 1977. So, and we have everybody talking about how they are real boys and real people. No bots. Thank you for not being a bot in our chat room. We appreciate it.
Welcome to the chat.
All right. So we're running out of time here, but I wanted to get on to was there we talked about different trailers that we were going to go. Did you guys have another specific trailer that you wanted to talk about? Between
Glass.
Okay, I agree. What are your thoughts, Nick, on Glass?
It's it seems like it's going. It's kind of doing a lot of flashbacks from what I saw in the trailer. I don't know why Bruce Willis's character, I forget what his name was. I don't know.
Dunn?
Yeah, I think that's it. I don't know why he's in a psychiatric ward along with Mr. Glass and the Split dude.
Well, that's what she kind of explains in there, though, is that it's a new. It's the field that she works on is growing because you're getting people that are thinking they're superheroes.
But it's like, but what did David Dunn do though? I mean, he started
vigilanting because that's what he.
Yeah, I guess so. I
mean, that's what we get at the end of Unbreakable.
That's what makes me believe there's gonna be flashbacks because I don't remember. Okay. Even at the very end of Split, Bruce Willis is in that bar.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to piece it together.
I'm intrigued. I look at this show or I look at this series and
I love it.
And unless you really know the series, you didn't realize the three films are connected in a sense. But then when you look at them as a whole, like what you were just talking about there with the psychiatric, I look at it as saying, this is probably one of the true superhero films that actually is more realistic. Could you imagine what happens if, like, when this guy shows up and he's got all of a sudden superhuman strength and he survives all these, what people would really do in real life? I think exactly what happened. Throw him in a psych ward and be like, dude, you're freaking crazy. And that's what I kind of really appreciate about seeing the trailer. And like, wow, they're doing this whole different and it's more realistic.
Yeah, no, I okay. So this is, I think, the saving grace for M. Night Shyamalan right now is that he ever since The Village, his movies have been crap. You know,
Mhm.
They're happening.
Until-
What was that? What it was called?
Was
The Hap-
Unbreakable after The Village or before?
no, it was before it.
Yeah.
Before, yeah.
So
Okay.
it went.
The
it went
Village, Lady in the
Sense,
Water,
Unbreakable. I think The Village, and then Lady in the Water.
Signs.
Wait,
Signs.
you're missing the Alien movie.
Signs. Yeah.
Signs.
Yeah,
Did Signs
Signs,
come
yeah.
before The Village?
Signs
came
yeah.
before-
was before
Science
the
was
Village.
decent.
I like
Signs was
Signs.
Yeah.
It was okay, yeah. But The Village pissed me off because literally this was my experience of The Village. I go to watch the movie. We're watching the beginning credits. I go, if these people are living in modern times with fake monsters to avoid society, I'm gonna be pissed. And that's exactly
That's
And I was
That movie
Because
would have
it's like-
even. That
as
movie
they're
would have
showing those newspaper clippings, that's all that went through my head. And I'm like, if this is what the freaking twist ends up being, I'm gonna be pissed, you know. And
That
after
movie
that,
would- that movie would have even been decent if it had just been. It was marketed as a suspense horror thriller, and it wasn't even
Yeah,
remotely
no.
that.
No. So, and then, yeah, The Happening was terrible. Split really brought it back. But once again, the movie that people have been asking for forever is where's our Unbreakable sequel? Where's our Unbreakable sequel? Because he talked about, hey,
Great
I want to
movie.
do this whole universe, and then never made the film. So Split was fantastic. Split went the extra mile when Bruce Willis showed up at the end of it. And I was like, oh my God,
love
this movie,
Split.
you know, yeah. So Glass, I am super excited for. I love that they're not just embracing straight up going, hey, yeah, they have powers and stuff like that. They're going, hey, they're loons. Everybody
Yeah,
thinks they're crazy.
I think it's going to be better than Unbreakable.
I could see that. I like the fact that Sarah Paulson is in the movie now. That she's
Yeah.
a great actress.
Great actress. Oh
Great
yeah.
actress.
Shyamalan's really going all out with this film, and I think the trailer is standing up to all the hype that's going with it. So
McAvoy looks insane in this movie. He looks so good.
They announced at the panel that McAvoy does 21 different personalities in
24?
24, I think.
24. Well, he actually acts them out this time versus last time when they're like, you have all these personalities, and he only acted out like 8
Yeah.
in Split. He actually acts out. They said he actually acts out the I think they said that he acts out 21 or something like that personalities in the film. So you actually see him act out that many. And I'm like, this guy is just, if he can do
He's
that,
an impressive actor.
yeah, if he can do that, he is so underrated for how good of an actor he is.
I just want one of the personalities to be, Dr. X.
just a cripple in a chair.
Professor X. Yeah.
Just walks around and goes, where's Logan?
And I'm glad the trailer looked so good because the panel was so odd. Because Samuel Jackson walked out with a glass of something that he was drinking. He chugged by the end of it, and that was fine. But Bruce seemed completely out of it at the panel. Like he just, we were making bets of how drunk he was on stage.
You think he was just out of his element? Because he's been there, done that before with Unbreakable. He was on The Fifth Element.
Yeah, but I
mean,
don't know if he was
should be
at
used to it.
Comic-Con before.
Yeah, I think it's not he's an. I guess
Oh, he has
if
been
you
at
wanna
Comic-Con.
say-
He was at Comic-Con. I've seen him once before. He was at Comic-Con for the one where Joseph Gordon-Levitt is the younger version of him,
Looper.
Looper.
Looper, yeah.
And he didn't seem out of it during Looper. So
He was still recovering from his roast.
that's what I was thinking. So
Yep. That makes sense.
Because that roast looks great.
yeah. So and I was very upset that nobody got up there to ask a Die Hard with a Vengeance question since you had Samuel L. Jackson and Bruce Willis sitting right next to each other.
Opportunity lost. Opportunity lost.
Yeah, but no, this trailer, I am. This is one of my favorite trailers of the convention. Was definitely this one. So I've been excited for this since they announced it. This just made me even more excited.
Yeah.
So I'm glad everybody else is kind of hyped on.
Yeah,
seeing
it's
it
the
well.
movie I'm most hyped about is Glass.
Mm.
Well,
of those.
since our producer said we can go a little bit long, I know
Harry
the
Potter.
movie that Super's most hyped about. I want to get her thoughts on the most recent trailer for it. What did you think of Grindelwald, the Fantastic Beasts 2 Super?
I cried. Legit,
Really?
I legit cried during that panel twice.
Well, during the panel, that's different. Then everybody else didn't get to
They
see
did
the panel.
trailer, when they did the trailer and Jude Law was out there doing his thing as Dumbledore, Eddie Redmayne playing off the two of them, getting the Grindelwald with Johnny Depp, I cried. And then when Johnny Depp actually came out as Grindelwald, I cried again.
Jack Malice said Bruce Willis was out of his fifth element on the panel.
I thought that trailer, it was amazing. And it looks so, I loved the first one, and this one looks so much better than
I want
the
to
first
get,
one.
okay, so we were in the panel, and I'll explain exactly what happened in the panel and what makes this trailer even more amazing because of it. What did you guys think about, have Nick, Masonic, Icy Zero, have you seen Fantastic Beasts 1?
Yes.
Okay.
Quite enjoyable.
I have never been able to get into Harry Potter.
Okay, so we'll leave you out of it.
So,
I have not seen it, but I do want to see it because I've
Okay.
seen the trailers for this one.
All right, so seeing as Icy Zero has seen it, what did you think about this trailer?
I thought it looked great.
Okay.
It seems a little more serious, a little more hardcore than the original Fantastic Beasts, which makes sense considering what the story it's trying to tell. I think it looks amazing, and the fact that they had Johnny Depp as Grindelwald now, just like he's playing a Johnny Depp role. He's creepy and he's got weird hair and a weird eye. It's like, yep. I'm surprised this wasn't directed by Tim Burton.
No. No, I wouldn't want Tim Burton. No offense to Tim Burton, but I don't want him touching the Harry Potter franchise.
No, I agree.
Apparently,
Go.
we're gonna wrap this up. So I just want to I want to give the indications of how good this trailer is. This is a really good trailer versus how amazing they make it when you're sitting in Hall H. So the panel opens up. If you guys have ever been to a lot of times they do it at hockey games where they have little things to give you to wear that light up, and they change colors amongst the audience so that it's like moving coloring around and stuff. They gave everybody in Hall H these wristbands that were programmed to light up. So the panel starts with, you see he's opening up the case from the first movie, and we are in the case, and he's looking and he waves his wand, and all of our wristbands light up like he's doing the thing.
Nice.
And then he's kind of directing everybody. They do the panel, and in the middle of the panel it stops, goes dark, and then all of a sudden Johnny Depp, dressed up as Grindelwald on stage, starts doing a whole monologue about how things have to change, how you're dealing with no mages and stuff like that. And he's waving his wand around, and the lights are changing color, and it's just this epic thing. And then he disappears, literally just disappears off the stage.
It was awesome.
So doing that, I think, made this trailer that much better and amazing to watch. But I wanted to get somebody's thoughts that didn't see that situation if it looked like that good of a trailer. And
it looked fantastic even without atmospherics. Like, I'm really stoked to see that.
Yeah. So, all right. So with that is our cast for this week. It was just reacting to trailers. Next week we'll be back to our normal format where it's going to be talking about the nerd news that's going on. Oh yes, and they brought Nicholas Flamel into the trailer, which was the best. My wife cheered during that.
That's when I started crying in the trailer, was when they brought out Flamel. I was so excited. I couldn't help it but cry.
But we're going to lose Masonic Vader here in a second. So let's talk about where we can follow everybody.
I'm good. I'm just not on the chat. I'm dead.
Okay. Where we can follow everybody outside of this cast, starting with you, Masonic Vader. Where can people follow you outside of MaliceCast Live?
Well, you can follow me, Masonic Vader, on Masonic Vader 71 on PlayStation Network. Also on Twitter, same, or like I like to do the shameless plug every night before I leave, Malice Smack Talk. You could definitely follow us on YouTube and on Malice or on Twitch. Definitely check us out. We do everything, not only just WWE, but Ring of Honor and stuff. And it'd be much appreciated to like our videos and give us some 5 stars if you like. And I'd really appreciate it a lot. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Super. Where can we follow you outside of the cast?
Follow me on Instagram at Superhoovian Freak, and then on Twitter at Superhoovian Nut. I still got a lot of pictures to put up from Comic-Con. I just haven't had time the past couple days. I have a bunch of pictures from Saturday and Sunday to put up. So,
okay. Nick, where can we follow you?
All right, so Raider0314 on Twitter. You can find me there, and you can also stay tuned for our newest episode, which should be dropping for Nerd Mosh Pit. Shameless plug. Should be dropping the first week of August.
Once Big Papa Matt gets back from vacation.
Right. Once he gets back from Costa Rica.
Yeah. So, and then where can we follow you, IC Zoro?
At IC Zoro on both Twitter and Instagram.
Okay. And we are a nerd network. We are a geek network where we have all different types of casts going on. You can check out our website, malice-corp.com, where you can see all of the podcasts to be able to listen to. You see some of the handles for those podcasts on Twitter here. You have Malice Corp, which is our main handle. MaliceCast is this podcast handle. Nerd Mosh Pit is our adult podcast. Quest for Movies, which is our Quest for 100 with Beacon and the Big Papa Matt trying to watch 100 movies in a calendar year in the movie theaters, which will get very interesting since MoviePass is having issues with losing money. So we're going to find out how that quest is going to be going.
Mm-hmm.
You have Comics for All, which is at All for Comics on Twitter. That's our comic book podcast. And as he said before, Masonic Vader said we have Malice Smack Talk on Twitter. That is our wrestling podcast. We are here every Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, talking all things nerd with you. So come back and join us. If you guys want to check in with me, I'm on Twitter at Mest_MaliceCorp or on Instagram at Mest5150. And my personal vlogs are on Geek Guidepost on YouTube. And then all of the panels and San Diego Comic-Con coverage for Malice Corp is on YouTube at www.youtube.com/C/Malice Corp. It's a mouthful. Thank you for being here. You guys keep nerding on, and we will see you later.
Bye, guys.